Hi, I'm Walt Arnold with SVN Commercial Real Estate in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and today we are talking with Lisa Ortega at Old Republic Title. Lisa, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got in the title business.
So, I started in the business 32 years ago,
Hmm.
and I started as a receptionist at Lawyers Title
Hmm.
during the very first refinance boom that our country had. Back when rates went from 14 down to about 9.
Yeah.
And I just kind of worked my way up and started getting into commercial about 15 years ago.
Well, good.
And that's pretty much the big portion of what I do now.
Well, I have some simple questions for you.
Okay.
Why do I need title insurance? As if I buy a property, what's important? What's the reason for it? Why do I need to have it?
Yeah. So title insurance, it takes care of a lot of things, but the main thing is that you as a buyer want to be sure that you're buying you're buying property where the title is unencumbered. Because as a buyer, you wouldn't know if the seller, if they actually had good title, if they had mortgages, if they had liens against them, if they had judgments, federal tax liens, things like that.
So, and really what it is it's insurance against that. So if there's a claim, somebody would bring a claim against the property, you would defend me as a buyer if I had title insurance on those certain things.
Right.
So example, some of the things you might want to talk about a little bit are just how does I would have insurance if I had an encroachment or a easement maybe that was one, as long as those were on the title policy, you guys would insure me for that. Is that correct?
Well, so easements are things that we don't necessarily cover,
Okay.
but we disclose to the buyer that there is an easement.
Right.
That way they can determine if the easement on the property will affect their intended use of the property.
Okay.
If there's an encroachment, so say for example, there's a building that sits upon that easement, before we close it, we would want to fix it.
Okay.
So we'd want to, if there it was, say it was a gas easement and the building was encroaching on it, we'd want to contact the gas company and see if they're going to allow the building to be on their easement. So title insurance, unlike homeowners insurance and car insurance, which covers things that may happen in the future,
Right.
title insurance actually covers things that have happened in the past. So we try to get it as clean as we can before closing and disclose everything ahead of time.
And you've talked a little bit about how having title insurance really ensures the value of the property. Because if you buy a property without title insurance, that's an issue.
Right.
It could devalue the property.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of what we're experiencing right now, because there's a lot of properties being sold that maybe haven't closed in a long time. They've been in families for years and years. And what we're finding now is that people don't have clear title. Because say their grandparents owned the property and their grandparents left them the property in the will, the grandparents passed away. Well, they've never done anything with the property since then. So they don't have clear title just by the fact that there was a will. So those are the things that a title company is going to help you with. They'll make requirements to get the title clear.
Right.
And where claims come in is basically if there's something on the title, like say you bought a piece of property and years later it was discovered that the person that sold it to you wasn't really that person. They were impersonating them and it was a forgery. That's something that title insurance would cover.
Oh, good. A lot of times in our world, in real estate world, we hear the word underwriter.
Right.
And a title company has an underwriter.
Right.
That talk about a little bit about that and how that happens and who that person is.
Yeah. So Old Republic Title, we are a direct operation of our underwriter. So Old Republic Title Insurance Company is a large national underwriter. And we have people that are what we call underwriters. So they're, a combination of attorneys, non-attorneys, people who are just very experienced in title, who basically make risk decisions on behalf of the underwriter, the company, whether we can insure something.
Okay. And it could be attorneys or non-attorneys, different kinds of people.
Yeah.
If you were, what would you say are several of the most important things you should know about when you're buying a property as a buyer of property, and when you get your title policy, your title commitment, which is what's issued, that you will insure the property for a title insurance. What are some of the most important things that a buyer should be aware of?
So a buyer, I always recommend that they review the exceptions to title. So those are going to be everything we found when we did our title search that affect title to the property. So most likely it's easements. Sometimes there'll be liens on the property, there'll be mortgages. So as a buyer, you just want to make sure that if there's a mortgage, that the seller's going to pay that off before they sell it to you, which the title company will help you take care of that. If you went to if you bought it without title insurance, that's something that is often missed. And you want to make sure that all of the easements, restrictive covenants, anything affecting the property, that it fits within the buyer's intended use.
Yeah. Do you think that most people have a good sense of title insurance and what it really does for them?
No, I don't think so at all. I think most people that come to closing or enter into a transaction and then get connected with me, they don't really know what our role is in the transaction. Yeah,
so I think I think one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the fact that it's so important to have title insurance, and I really appreciate you coming in today. Again, Lisa Ortega with Old Republic Title. Again, I'm Walt Arnold with SVN Commercial, and thanks for joining us today. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found what we talked about beneficial. Please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to talk to me directly, click on the link below and we'll set up a time to talk.